Okay, we have a full set of League Two fixtures this weekend, so I'm just going to quickly run through my predictions. Kicking us off, MK Dons take on Gillingham. Kind of what I love about League Two football. MK Dons were everybody's favourites at the start of the season. They've really struggled so far. They won last week, but they're down in ninth, so they're a little bit off the pace. Gillingham hadn't lost all season, played Harrogate at home last week. I think that was a banker for pretty much everybody, and they went and lost. So yeah, anything can happen in League Two. But yeah, for these two, I fancy a draw. I'm going to sit on the fence. I've gone for a 1-1 draw. Newport take on Swindon. Newport, pretty bad start to the season. 1 win in 10. They've let in 20 goals in those 10 games, so they're pretty poor defensively. Taking on the Swindon side, they've won 7 of their opening 10. They've lost 3. They're second in the table, so brilliant start for them. Plenty of goals in their team. So I think that will carry on this weekend. I've gone for a 3-1 away win. Barrow take on Shrewsbury. Barrow were really struggling. They've actually picked up a couple of wins on the bounce just to move them away from the relegation zone. Shrewsbury, however, are in the relegation zone, the second bottom. 1 win in 10. Lost 3 on the bounce. Not an easy place to go up to this weekend for them, I don't think. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 home win. Bromley take on Tranmere. Bromley, good start to the season. They haven't won in their last 4, so just fallen off a little bit. They lost 2 of their last 3, but they are the only 2 defeats this season. Tranmere down in 18th again. They're sort of struggling away. I think Bromley will win this weekend though, so I've gone for a 2-1 home win. Cambridge take on Crawley. Cambridge, again, I think people thought they'd be higher, a bit of a slow start for their standards. They're down in 10th. Taking on a Crawley side who came down last year. Then defensively not that great again this year, just above the relegation zone. I can't see them getting anything at Cambridge, so I've gone for a 1-0 home win. Cheltenham take on Fleetwood. Real poor showing for Cheltenham. They've lost their last 3 on the bounce. Won 1 in 10. Only 4 points this season. Scored 4 goals, but they've let in 24 goals. So pretty much everything that could go wrong for Cheltenham is going wrong. Take on Fleetwood side, who are 11th. Don't look too bad, but I think, it should be a win for them this weekend. So I've gone for a 2-0 away win. Colchester take on Chesterfield. Colchester, I thought they might have a good season, but they've only won 1 of their opening 10. They're in 20th place. Very poor start for them. Chesterfield going along nicely. They're in 6th place. And I fancy them to build on that with another win this weekend. So I've gone for a 2-1 away win. Barnet take on Accrington. Barnet, slow start. They've picked up 7 points in the last 3 games. Taking on an Accrington team who I feel can spring a surprise every now and then. They're keeping themselves above the relegation zone. I feel like they can nick a point this weekend. So I've gone for a 1-1 draw. Notts County take on Oldham. These two are next to each other in the table. Notts County in 12th, Oldham in 13th. If you want goals, Oldham aren't really the team to go for. They've only scored 9 and let in 6 in their opening 10 games. I guess you can say they're very good defensively. Bit of opposite for Notts County. They're pretty good for goals. Scored 17, let in 12. All in all, I think this will be a draw. So I'm going for a 1-1 draw. Salford take on Grimsby. 2 teams, again, next to each other in the table. Slightly higher up this time. Salford are 4th, Grimsby are 5th. Both had really good starts to the season. I feel like both of these teams are pretty good for goals. Grimsby obviously with that massive win last weekend, scoring 7. But I fancy Salford at home, so I've gone for a 3-2 home win. Walsall take on Bristol Rovers. Walsall have climbed to the top of the table. They're in really good form. However, Bristol Rovers, a bit of a slow start. They've won 4 of their last 5, drawing the other game. They're looking pretty solid, and I fancy them not to lose this weekend. I think it'd be a tight game between 2 good teams, so I've gone for a 1-1 draw. And then finally, Harrogate take on Crewe. Crewe were on a rotten run. They did get a win last weekend to push them back up to 8th. Taking on a Harrogate team who were slipping down the table. But like I said, win at Gillingham last weekend. That was their second win in a row, and I fancy them to build on that. So I've gone for a 1-0 home win. That's my predictions for League Two this weekend. Let's see how we get on.